Growth begins where comfort ends. Comfort feels safe, predictable, and easy. It asks little of you. But real growth demands that you step into the unfamiliar where there are no guarantees. In that space, you're forced to stretch, to adapt, and to discover strengths you didn't know you had. It's in the moments when you leave the warm shelter of routine that you begin to see what you're truly capable of. The problem with comfort is that it quietly convinces you to stay the same. It whispers that you've done enough, that change is too risky, that this is good enough. But good enough rarely leads to greatness. Staying in comfort may feel pleasant now, but it comes at the cost of what you could become. Stepping out of your comfort zone isn't about recklessness. It's about intentional challenge. It's about deliberately choosing situations that will stretch your skills, test your patience, and strengthen your character. Those experiences may be uncomfortable in the moment, but they become the very foundation of your growth. The truth is, you'll never discover your full capacity by staying in the same place. You have to venture beyond the familiar, face a few fears, and embrace the unknown. Growth doesn't happen in the chair you've been sitting in for years. It happens when you stand up and walk into something new. So don't fear the edge of your comfort zone. Pursue it. That's where your potential lies. That's where you find the strength, wisdom, and confidence that will carry you to the next level of your life. Playing it safe may protect you, but it will also limit you. Safety shields you from certain failures, but it also blocks you from certain successes. You might avoid embarrassment, rejection, or loss, but you also miss out on discovery, growth, and the satisfaction of accomplishing something bold. A life built only on safety becomes small, predictable, and confined, not because that's all you're capable of, but because that's all you're willing to reach for. The illusion of safety is that it feels like you're winning by avoiding loss. But in reality, you're losing the chance to see how far you could go. No one ever built a dream by hiding from risk. Every invention, every breakthrough, every great story came from someone who stepped beyond a safe path and tried something that might not work. Playing it safe can keep you from pain, but it can also keep you from purpose. You'll never know the heights you could reach if you refuse to climb. You'll never know the joy of victory if you never enter the arena. Staying in the shallow end of life may keep your head above water, but it will never teach you how to swim. Growth requires risk because risk forces you to face the unknown. It demands decisions, invites mistakes, and pushes you to adapt. Each time you step into risk, you expand your courage and deepen your capacity to handle life's challenges. So don't let the desire for safety rob you of a life worth living. Protect yourself where it matters, but be willing to gamble on your dreams. Because while safety can keep you from falling, only risk can help you rise. Every great achievement comes with uncertainty. The bigger the dream, the less certain the outcome will be. And that's exactly what makes it great. If you already knew every step, every challenge, and every result before you began, it wouldn't be growth, it would just be maintenance. Uncertainty is the space where potential lies, the place you discover not only what you can do, but who you can become in the process. Uncertainty can feel intimidating because it strips away guarantees. It asks you to move forward without full control, to invest your time, energy, and resources into something that may not turn out exactly as you imagine. But that very unpredictability is what separates ordinary outcomes from extraordinary ones. When you embrace uncertainty, you open the door to possibilities you couldn't plan for. You may stumble onto opportunities, ideas, and connections that would have remained hidden if you'd waited for the perfect plan. Great achievements often happen because someone was willing to walk into the unknown, trusting that they would figure it out along the way. The truth is, you can't eliminate uncertainty without also eliminating opportunity. Certainty is comfortable, but it's rarely where greatness is found. The path to achievement is filled with trial, error, adjustment, and resilience. So when uncertainty appears, don't run from it. Recognize it as a sign you're on the right track. If you're willing to walk through the unknown, you give yourself a chance to create something remarkable, and that's a risk worth taking. Risk is the price you pay for progress. Every step forward comes with the possibility of stumbling, but without taking that step, you remain exactly where you are. Progress demands that you trade a measure of safety for the chance to reach something better. It's the toll you pay to cross the bridge from where you are to where you want to be. Many people want the rewards of growth without the cost of risk. They want change without challenge and advancement without uncertainty. But it doesn't work that way. Every meaningful gain in life, whether in business, relationships, or personal development, requires you to put something on the line. The reason risk is so valuable is that it forces you to commit. Once you've invested your time, effort, or resources, you're no longer just thinking about change, you're acting on it. That commitment builds momentum, and momentum turns possibilities into realities. Avoiding risk might feel like you're protecting yourself, but in truth, you're often just protecting the status quo. And the status quo, left untouched, becomes stagnation. Progress asks for courage precisely because it's uncertain. There's no guarantee except the certainty that staying still won't get you where you want to go. So accept that risk is not the enemy, it's the admission ticket to your next chapter. Pay the price willingly, and you'll find that what you gain on the other side is worth far more than what you risk to get there. Fear of failure often robs people of their greatest potential. It convinces them to play small, to stick to what's safe, and to avoid challenges that could help them grow. This fear doesn't just stop action, it slowly erodes confidence, making people doubt their ability before they've even tried. In many cases, the fear of what might happen is far worse than anything that actually would happen if they failed. The danger is that fear can disguise itself as wisdom. It whispers, be realistic, or don't risk it, when in reality, it's just keeping you from discovering what you're capable of. Playing it safe might protect you from disappointment, but it also protects you from success. You'll never hit the target if you refuse to take the shot. Failure itself is rarely fatal. It's feedback. Every setback contains information you can use to improve, adapt, and come back stronger. But when you let fear dictate your choices, you rob yourself of those lessons, leaving you stuck in the same place year after year. The truth is, fear fades the moment you step into action. Confidence doesn't come first, it comes from doing. Each time you face a challenge despite your fear, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than you thought. That proof becomes fuel for even greater risks and greater rewards. So don't let the fear of failure hold you hostage. Failure is just a step in the process, but fear, if left unchecked, can be a life sentence. Trade your fear for action, and you'll find that your potential has been waiting for you all along. You can't discover new horizons without leaving the shore. The shore is safe, it's familiar, predictable, and steady. You know the ground beneath your feet, and you can see exactly where you stand. But safety alone will never take you anywhere new. To reach new horizons, you must be willing to lose sight of the land for a while, to step into the unknown waters where the destination isn't yet visible. Leaving the shore means accepting uncertainty. You can't control the wind, the waves, or the weather, but you can control your decision to set sail. It's in that decision that growth begins. The sea may be rough and the journey may be longer than expected, but every mile away from the shore expands your perspective. New horizons are discovered only by those who take the risk to go beyond what they already know. You can study maps, read stories, and dream about distant places, but until you take the first step away from the familiar, those horizons remain out of reach. The truth is, the comfort of the shore will always try to call you back. It will remind you of how easy life can be without the risk. But the most breathtaking views in life, changing opportunities will never be found where you already are. They're out there, waiting beyond the edge of your comfort zone. So be willing to leave the shore. Let the promise of discovery outweigh the fear of uncertainty. Because the only way to see what's truly possible is to go where you've never gone before. Mistakes are not the enemy. They are teachers in disguise. Every misstep, every wrong turn, and every failed attempt carries with it a lesson you couldn't have learned any other way. While success can be encouraging, it's mistakes that often shape your wisdom. They strip away illusions, show you where your approach is weak, and reveal truths you might have ignored when things were going well. The problem is, most people run from mistakes as if they define their worth. They see failure as proof they're not capable, when in reality it's proof they're trying. You can't improve at anything without first being willing to do it imperfectly. The very act of making mistakes means you're stretching beyond your current abilities. Mistakes demand humility, but they also invite growth. They challenge you to face uncomfortable truths, adjust your methods, and keep going. The lessons they teach are often costly, but those costs are investments, ones that pay back in resilience, skill, and wisdom. If you try to avoid mistakes at all costs, you avoid the experiences that teach you the most. You might protect your pride, but you stunt your progress. The greatest leaders, creators, and innovators didn't reach the top because they avoided mistakes. They reached it because they learned from them faster than others. So stop seeing mistakes as the enemy. Welcome them as instructors in the school of growth. They're not here to defeat you. They're here to prepare you for the next step in your journey. Risk stretches your capacity and builds your courage. When you step into situations where the outcome is uncertain, you're forced to draw on abilities you didn't know you had. You think quicker, adapt faster, and discover strengths that would have stayed hidden if you'd stayed in the safe zone. Each risk you take expands the limits of what you believe is possible for you. Courage isn't built in comfort, it's built in challenge. You don't develop bravery by avoiding fear, you develop it by moving forward despite fear. Every time you face the unknown, you strengthen the muscle of courage, making it easy to take the next leap. Over time, situations that once seemed overwhelming become manageable, even exciting. Risk also teaches you how to handle pressure. It forces you to make decisions, to take responsibility for the outcomes, and to own both your wins and your losses. This process matures you, building not just courage, but confidence. The truth is, avoiding risk keeps you small, while embracing it enlarges you. It stretches your thinking, sharpens your skills, and grows your resilience. Each risk you take is a stepping stone toward a version of yourself that's stronger, bolder, and more capable. So don't shy away from risk. See it as the training ground for your potential. Every risk you take builds the courage you'll need for the next. And in that process, you become the kind of person who can face anything. If you avoid all risks, you also avoid all rewards. Playing life completely safe might shield you from certain failures, but it also locks you out of the victories that could change your life. Every meaningful reward, whether it's success in business, deep relationships, or personal growth, comes with a chance of loss. The bigger the reward, the greater the risk that comes with it. When you choose to avoid risk altogether, you choose to live within the smallest possible version of your potential. You may avoid pain, but you also avoid joy. You might dodge disappointment, but you also dodge discovery. The price of absolute safety is absolute limitation. Rewards are the result of stepping into the unknown, of being willing to take the chance that things might not go as planned. That leap is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. The willingness to risk is what opens the door to opportunities that most people never experience. Life's richest moments often come with uncertainty, a business that might fail but could succeed beyond your imagination, a relationship that might break but could bring lifelong happiness, a challenge that could expose weakness, but also uncover your greatest strength. Without risk, these moments never happen. So if you want the rewards, you must be willing to accept the risks that come with them. The two are inseparable. Avoiding risk may keep you comfortable, but only risk can lead you to the life you truly want. The discomfort of risk is temporary. The regret of inaction can last a lifetime. Fear and uncertainty may feel intense in the moment, but they fade as you adapt, learn, and grow. That nervous feeling in your stomach before you take a leap will pass, often replaced by relief, pride, or excitement. But the opportunities you pass up, the dreams you set aside, and the chances you never take have a way of staying with you far longer than the discomfort ever would. Regret is heavy because it's permanent. You can recover from a failure, but you can't go back and relive a moment you chose to avoid. Years from now, you won't remember the exact fear you felt before taking a risk, but you will remember the dream you didn't chase. Time makes fear look smaller, but it makes regret look larger. Taking a risk means facing the possibility of loss, but it also means giving yourself a chance at gain. Even if things don't go perfectly, you walk away with experience, lessons, and often a surprising sense of courage. The discomfort fades, and what remains is the satisfaction that you tried. Inaction, on the other hand, is a slow thief. It steals your potential without making a sound. It keeps you wondering what could have been, and that question can echo for decades. The price of doing nothing is far higher than the price of trying and failing. So when faced with a choice, remember this: the momentary discomfort of risk will pass, but the regret of inaction may never leave. Better to live with the scars of effort than the emptiness of never trying.